The Touchbase Buyers Tour lets you plan multiple showings with your buyers so you can plan your day. You can access the Buyers Tour by clicking on Buyers Tours here in the Touchbase menu on the app, and you can find it here in the browser menu. This tutorial will be focused on the browser version, but the same functionality exists in our app. It also adds functionality to the Touchbase button from the MLS. Now, when you click on the Touchbase button, you have an option to add the listing to your cart, on top of all the other messages that you can send. Let's click on Add to Cart. We'll show you what the cart looks like later when we're creating our tour. The Buyer's Tour overview lets you see all of your upcoming tours, as well as all your past tours. There's also a search bar at the top that you can use to filter your tours. And the search persists if you change tabs. At the top, you can create a new tour. Let's create a tour. The first step is to assign the tour to a buyer. You can either search for an existing buyer or create a new contact. Let's create a new contact. So create the first name and the last name. And you can add up to 4 email addresses and 4 phone numbers. An email address is required. Let's add an email address to our contact. If we want to add other email addresses, we can click on the plus sign to the right. And to remove an email address, we click on the trash can icon. You can add a number in the same way by typing it out, and select the type of phone that you're adding. Once your contact is ready, you can hit Save at the bottom. Now that we've created the contact, we can assign it to the tour. And we can select the start date and start time of the tour. Once we're happy, we can hit Save at the bottom. And now we're back to our tour. We can go into the buyer at any time by clicking on their name. This is a good way to review the contact information if it's an existing buyer and you need to make a change. Since we're not changing anything here, I'll go back to the tour. You can also change the start date and start time of the tour from the overview screen, assuming you haven't sent out any showing requests yet. To add a destination, you can click on Add a Destination here, or the plus icon to the right. You can add a destination by searching for the listing agent's name, the listing's address, the listing's MLS number, and if you've added listings to your cart, you can find them here. We'll cover waypoints and pauses later. Let's add a destination from our cart. So I click on the cart. Let's add 2644 Willowbrae by clicking on the check mark. This takes us to the showing request message. The starting date and starting time of the showing is calculated automatically based on where you're at in your tour. You can still change the start time by clicking on it just like any other showing request. Since this is our first visit, I'll leave it at 11:30. And instead of sending the message, we save the showing to our cart. Let's add another destination to our tour. I'll take it from the cart. This time, let's add our listing on Columbia. Again, the start time of the showing is calculated automatically. Let's hit Save. Let's add a waypoint for lunch. So the first step is to add the destination. I'll click on the plus icon. This time I'll click on Waypoint. We search for the destination that we want to add and click on it to add it to our tour and hit Save. Now that we know where we're going, let's add a pause to determine how long we'll be there. So I click on the plus icon. This time we click on Pause. The pause duration can be anywhere from 5 minutes to 60 minutes. 30 minutes is good, so we'll leave it at that. And hit Save to add it to the tour. Adding pauses to your tour can also be useful to help manage your tour if the driving estimate doesn't seem right to you. Say you have a showing in the middle of downtown during rush hour, or in a remote location. These driving estimates are calculated automatically, but if you know better, you can manually add a pause after the showing. Let's add another destination. This time I'll search for the listing agent. So I search for Bob Bungalow. Click on his name. Now I choose the listing. I want the one on Trophy Court. And again, we're taken to the showing request. Let's change it to one of these pre-approved time slots and hit save. The Optimize Tour button calculates the most efficient time for your showings. If we click on it, we see that the last showing has been moved up to 2:20. You can also change the order of the stops by using the grip bars to the left. And you can click Optimize Tour to recalculate if needed. Let's move the second stop back to the second position. The Buyer's Tour also lets you visualize your tour on a map. We click on Show on Map, and this shows us all of our stops with the driving instructions below. We can change the order of the stops by dragging them, just like we were in our tour. Let's go back to our tour. And the last two actions are used to send all the showing requests at the same time or delete the tour entirely. Before we send the requests, let's talk about the status of the showings and what it looks like to edit a showing. Before we've sent out a showing request, the ball is entirely in our court. So for any stop, you can click on the pencil icon and it'll take you to the showing request where you can edit the tour any way you wish. If I hit save, this is now reflected in the overview. And as always, you can click on Optimize Tour to recalculate everything. Once we've sent a showing request, we can only cancel a showing and we can't change the order. Now the listing agents are involved. Let's send all the showing requests. And this takes us back to the Buyer's Tour screen. The icons in the overview screen let you see the status of the showings in each tour. If the icon is gray, that means we haven't sent the showing requests yet. If it's yellow, like it is here, it means some showings still need to be confirmed by the listing agents. If it's red, that means at least one showing has been canceled by the listing agent. And if it's green, that means all your showings are confirmed. Now it's later in the day and Bob has confirmed all our showings. If we head back into the tour, we can see that all the showings have been confirmed. And now that our showings are confirmed, we can share the entire tour with the buyer with one click. And the tour will be sent by email to the buyer. If you need to cancel a showing after your showing requests have been sent, you can do so by clicking on the listing that you want to cancel. This will take you to the showing confirmation message, and then you reply to the confirmation message, click on Cancel, send out the showing cancellation, and this will take you back to your active inbox. Now, if we return to our Buyer's Tour, the icon reflects that there's a canceled showing, and if you click in the tour, you can see that this showing has been canceled. If you want to delete the entire tour and cancel all the showing requests, you can do so by clicking on the bottom button here. Thank you for watching the Touchbase Buyer's Tour tutorial video.